Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to NGLCC Webinar Wednesdays. My name is Sabrina Kent. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm our Senior Vice President overseeing supplier diversity programs and partnerships here at the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce. We are so excited to have you all with us today for an amazing session, LinkedIn 201 and mastering and optimizing LinkedIn. So some of you may remember that 13 months ago, Russ Terry was with us and gave us an introductory session on LinkedIn. And I will say that Russ has really been the individual and the person that has encouraged me to make better use of my own LinkedIn profile and platform. So our team has gone in and dropped the link from last year's 101 session in the chat. So if you didn't have the chance to join us for that last year, you just want to brush up, take a look at that after today's session so that you can make the most of these two sessions together. Russ has been an incredible friend, partner, and member of the NGLCC certified LGBTBE family, and I think just provides so much value to all of us. He's got an infectious, positive personality. He is also incredibly and deeply knowledgeable in his subject. In fact, the LinkedIn 101 session last year was one of our best attended webinar Wednesdays during the year of 2020. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to turn it over to Russ Terry, who is a coach, motivational speaker, diversity consultant, and the founder and CEO of Life Coach Radio Networks. Make sure you're utilizing the chat and Q&A in today's session so that we can get to all of your questions for Russ. So with that, Russ, I will turn it over to you to take it away.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. So grateful to you for all the kind words and for booking me to come back again to speak to our amazing suppliers, our fellow business owners, fellow LGBT certified businesses. Hi, everybody. Great to see you. I'm super excited to be here with you today. I get so much business from LinkedIn, and I'm here to tell you exactly how I get all of it so that you can do the same in your business. As you can see on the screen, we want you to ask questions. So use the Q&A feature in Zoom to submit your questions to me. So just click on the Q&A at the bottom of the screen. That will certainly help Sabrina and me navigate the questions. So yay on the questions. You can also ask your questions in the chat. I do see somebody says, oh, okay, 2 audio tracks simultaneously. Maybe he needs to exit. Okay, perfect. If the issue's on my end, okay, everybody's saying audio is good on there. Okay, good. Glad it wasn't me. Technology is not my area of expertise. So, all right. So before we get into the content, let's start with a poll question. And Jonathan's amazing at running these poll questions. So let's ask you the very first poll question. So the first polling question is, what letter grade would you give yourself for your LinkedIn profile and activity? So those are 2 separate things. You can average the grade, profile and activity. All right, lots of results coming in. We don't have any A's from any of our participants, but you came to the right place. I'm optimistic you can get some A's by the end of this class. All right, so the most common category is a C. The second most common category is a D. We do have some B's in third place and a big fat F, if you will. But you're going to learn a lot of really great things today so that you can have much better activity on LinkedIn, which will then lead to clients for your business. All right, so let's get into it. How to get clients on LinkedIn. As I said, I'm going to walk you through the specific things that I do to get clients so that you also can do these things. So what you're going to see is specific people and how we connected on LinkedIn and how and when they became a client, because I felt like you seeing the specifics was the #1 best way so that you can do some of these things also. All right, so, and the names were changed, by the way, to protect people's privacy. So Zeke Peters, I connected with him on LinkedIn June 25th, 2015, he came to one of my speaking engagements. So whenever any of you are out there, make sure you share your LinkedIn so that people can add you. And he became a client 5.5 years later. So as you probably know, sometimes networking, we get an instant amazing result. And other times networking, we cultivate that relationship over time, and then we get a result. So here are some examples of the exchange of messages that I had with Zeke. You'll see I congratulate him on getting promoted to manager. So how did I know that? All right, so we're gonna pause this and go to my LinkedIn so I can show you the most important thing on your LinkedIn for you to learn today is to make sure you go through your notifications. So you can see the notifications in my screen, the 24 in red and white in the upper right. I'm going to click on them momentarily, but I just want to hover over it. So you want to click on notifications and then scroll down to when people got a new position. So I'm going to click on congratulate Jennifer and 6 others for starting new positions. And I have to remember to tell my VA that I'm doing this. So this information right here is your friend, because these new positions are a fantastic way to stay connected with people. So when I get these, either I or my assistant reaches out to each of these individuals and says, congratulations on the new role, looks amazing. We try to personalize it. And this is a really, really, really fantastic way to keep in touch with your connections. Because remember, LinkedIn is the social media for people to do business, for people who have money to spend on our services. So you absolutely want to use this LinkedIn notifications feature. All right, so if we go back to the discussion with Zeke, go back to that. So in August 2018, I said, congrats on getting promoted to manager. Did you leave and go back after grad school? That's what I did at PwC. This individual worked at Deloitte, which is one of the main competitors of PwC. So we knew each other's industry. He wrote back and said, Russ, thank you, it's correct. I left and came back. Would love to chat with you. What made you decide to leave PwC, struggling with finding fulfillment at work, etc. So for me, somebody that's a coach, oh my gosh, this is my ideal client. So I wrote back right away. Thanks for the note. Happy to have a free session with you. I've worked at lots of people from PwC, other big four. All right, so we made a plan to talk. We exchanged a couple more messages about availability. Now, as happens with life, sometimes he had to reschedule, which, that happens. So then fast forward to January, so 5 or so months later, he got another new job. So I say, congrats on the new role. I know we never had that coaching session, etc. Then summer of 2020, exchanged formalities, took advantage of opportunities to congratulate him on another new job, highlighting his career growth. So all of those were planting the seed. So then this past January, he reaches out to me. I did not contact him. And he says, what type of coaching do you offer? So I say all types. He said, yeah, I'd love to schedule a session, looking for career executive coaching. So we exchanged availability, had the free coaching session on January 15th. And within 30 minutes of getting off the phone of that free session, he said, can you send me the 10 session invoice? And 20 minutes later, he paid the invoice in full for 10 sessions. By the way, his company sponsors personal development work and paid for our coaching. So this is one example, and I'm going to show you a lot of examples, how cultivating a relationship, going through the notifications, connecting with someone when you have a speaking engagement or otherwise meet them is a great way to get a client. All right, let me pause there. What, if any, questions do people have in the chat? Let me go to the chat, go through your notifications. I love you say all kinds, so much pressure to niche. Yes, thank you, Holly. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's very important to not pigeonhole ourselves. And I know a lot of business people who get caught up in niche, and I still do all kinds of coaching. What Holly referenced is my answer here on 1/7/21. I do all types of coaching: career, executive, leadership, life, business. And it's true, I do all those types of coaching. So why feel pressure to have a specific niche? All right, let's see what else is in the chat here. Do you spend any time on Facebook, Instagram, etc.? All your time spent on LinkedIn? So I would say I am on those platforms, and I do get um, some exposure from those platforms, but LinkedIn is exponentially more clients, more exposure than the others. I would say the others, it's more indirect, whereas LinkedIn, as you can see, it is very direct. I'm not connected to Zeke on Instagram or Facebook. The nature of our interaction on LinkedIn is talking about career stuff and the type of work that I do, so that he's crystal clear on the type of work I do, so that when he is ready to invest in this type of work, he knows that I'm the person that he should reach out to. All right, we do have a raised hand from Jorge. Jorge, you can unmute yourself. And what is your comment or question? Go ahead, Jorge. Do you want to ask a question verbally? We don't see you unmuted. All right, Jorge, we will come back to you, or you can put your question in the chat. Oh, they said they can't unmute. So let's see here. I will, let's see, ask to unmute. I clicked ask to unmute. Okay, so if we can't get to your question verbally, Jorge, then if you want to type it either in Q&A or the chat, I'm certainly happy to address it. And Jonathan, Sabrina, let us know. Oh, okay, we brought Jorge to the main stage. Okay, so Jorge, if you're able to unmute yourself, go ahead. If not, we will come back to you.
Jonathan, are you able to set permissions to allow Jorge to speak? I didn't ask.
I am, Jorge. You should be able to, but it's I don't see any reason why it's not. But go ahead and just drop it in the chat, and we'll answer it that way.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Sabrina and Jonathan, for your help behind the scenes. Okay, so let's go to the next example, and Jorge will come back to you and your question, I promise. All right, so the next person is, we'll call him Jose Benitez. We connected on LinkedIn May 16th, 2019. I requested him on LinkedIn. He accepted. He became a client January 10th, 2020. So another example of cultivating a relationship. This one was about 8 months. So you'll see our messages here. Thanks for accepting. I love coaching your dad. He speaks so highly of you. So I actually coached Jose's dad, and Jose wrote back. He really appreciates you as well. Great to meet you. I said, I understand you may be interested in coaching also. Let me know if you'd like to have a free session sometime. I have several families that I work with multiple people in the same family. He says, thanks for the offer, willing to try a free session. I'm about to travel. Maybe we can plan for when I get back. Here's my contact info. So again, I wrote back in May and said, when do you get back? He didn't answer, but then again, I planted the seed, and 7.5 months later, he writes back, Russ, I hope you're well. Just finished traveling to India and Barcelona with my dad, doing some career thinking. Would be awesome to bounce a few thoughts off you. Can we set up time? So of course I write back right away. Absolutely. Happy to have a free coaching session with you. I'll text you in the next day or so. So texted him the next day on January 6th. Later that week, January 10th, we had the free session. Same day, Jose paid right afterward and officially became a client. So the tool I used here was being my favorite quality, politely assertive. And Sabrina knows this about me. I love being politely assertive. That's how I got to speak for the NGLCC last year when I was a brand new member. I just got certified last July, and already last August, I was one of the speakers on the webinar Wednesday. So I was politely assertive. The dad said in our coaching sessions, he mentioned the son. He said the son might be interested in some coaching. The son worked at a very reputable consulting firm in the industry that I came from and know well. So I requested him and he accepted. So as you navigate your business, being politely assertive and reaching out to some people can be beneficial and can help you get clients. All right, any questions or comments on that? Okay, there was a siren going by, so I muted myself momentarily. All right, next up, oh my gosh, I just texted this person. She's actually become a friend, Tina James. Oh, let's see what the question was. I love the New York City sounds, right? All right, so Tina James and I connected on LinkedIn December 2019. I found her on LinkedIn Profinder, which is now known as Services Marketplace, and she became a client in February, so about a month and a half later. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to get to what's now called Services Marketplace. Again, it used to be called LinkedIn Profinder. All right, so we're back on my LinkedIn, which, by the way, I will, of course, share with you a link to my profile. That way you can add me on LinkedIn and see lots of great content throughout the year. So I will drop the link to my LinkedIn in the chat now. Feel free to add me. I'll, of course, accept you. All right, so the Services Marketplace is up here in the upper right by the Work tab. So it kind of looks like a tic-tac-toe board, this little grid. So you want to click on the Work tab and then scroll down to Services Marketplace. And then once you're in the Services Marketplace, you click on Client Requests. Client requests. So you can see that available, there's one person at the moment who is seeking a life coach. She's here in the tri-state area. She has 3 proposals. When it gets to 5 proposals, then the request gets closed out. So what you can do is view her request. So she talks about what she's interested in doing, 4 years into nonprofit, recently finished my bachelor's, etc. So you can see the type of service that she's looking for. And it's not just coaching. LinkedIn has all kinds of different service providers. So what I do is I copy the person's headline. So I'm copying this resource development and engagement coordinator at Carver Foundation of Norwalk. And then I'm going to go back to, bear with me a second here. Just need to go back to, okay, so I'm going to reshare my screen. Okay, so now I'm going to enter her headline in the search bar. The one funky thing about LinkedIn is when somebody uses the ampersand, this and sign, it adds the AMP colon. So you just have to delete that. So I'm now hitting enter on the search results and voila, just like magic, I now know that her name is Rachel Moledo. So I'm going to click on Rachel Moledo and it doesn't say connect. So you have to click more. So I'm going to click more and then hit connect. And I am then going to hit connect again and send. And this is how you find potential clients on LinkedIn. So Rachel is looking for a life coach. I'm a life coach. We're total strangers. We don't have any mutual connections. But when I have time, go through this, what used to be called LinkedIn Profinder, now called Services Marketplace, to find potential clients, which is, in my estimation, amazing. I love getting potential clients. And this woman, Tina James, and I'm going to go back to that presentation in a second, is how I found her. And I found a number of people through this Services Marketplace, formerly known as LinkedIn Profinder. And the good news, Holly, thank you for all your questions, Holly, is it's totally free. You don't need a premium membership to use the Services Marketplace. Now, I'm already signed up for it. If you haven't used it yet, you do have to follow the prompts to sign up for it, but it asks you a series of questions, what services you provide, etc. All right, let's see. So let's go back to the Tina James example, just so I can walk you through it. And then I see we have a question. I'll answer that question in a second. All right, so again, I found her on LinkedIn Profinder, now known as Services Marketplace, the tool that I just showed you. So here's what I said. Hi, Tina, thanks for accepting. Nice to meet you. Did I see on here that you're looking for a coach? If so, I'm happy to have a free session with you. So she writes back, hi, Russ, hope all's well. Let me know if you're free to chat in the coming days. You can reach me at blank. I look forward to connecting with you live. So we exchanged times. Great, give you a call. Awesome, thanks, you too. So we had the free session. about a month after we connected, but the day after she reached back out to me. And then boom, we had the free session on Monday, January 20th last year, and she became a client within a couple of weeks. She paid for her coaching sessions. So again, total stranger who now has become a loyal client. She's referred 2 other clients to me. We've actually become friends. We met for coffee a few weeks ago. I met her husband. We live kind of near each other. So again, total stranger, and never would have met her if it wasn't for LinkedIn Profinder and Services Marketplace. All right, let's see what the question is in the chat. Is it true you can turn off the ability for people to see that you've viewed their profile on LinkedIn? How do you do that? So I personally don't use that feature. I am happy to see if people want to know that I viewed their profile. So I don't specifically know the answer to that question, although I think that is something that you can do. Ronald says, what if your clients are companies and not individuals? So I think one thing that could be beneficial for you, Ron, is to network with individuals at those companies through LinkedIn. And one of my examples that I may share later, her company is paying for the services. Bertus says, can you please show again where to find the service marketplace? Yes, absolutely, Bertus. Happy to show you. All right, so let's go back to LinkedIn. So Bertus, it's right here in the upper right. You click on work, which is kind of looks like a tic-tac-toe board. And then you scroll down to services marketplace. And then for me, because I've already signed up for it, I would click here on client requests. And that's where we saw this woman who I showed you the profile of. Now you can see popular services on here: graphic design, marketing strategy, PR, iOS development, business law, financial analysis, accounting. You get the idea. You can even click on see all services. These are all of the services that LinkedIn has, all of the different providers. So all of the things that you could potentially do for people. All right, let's see, lots of questions in the chat. Oh, thank you for sharing how to stop someone from telling you their profile. Shout out to Jonathan for that. Yes, Steve, you will, yes, they'll reshare that YouTube link for LinkedIn 101 last year. And Dale, how do we sign up as providers? So you should be able to go to this service provider, and let me reshare it with you. So I don't see it because I'm already signed up as a service provider. But if you go to the service providers area, it should give you a prompt to sign up as a service provider. And again, I've already done it, so I can't show you on mine, but you should be able to see the prompts for providing services when you go to the services marketplace. Okay, great questions, everybody. Oh, thank you, Dale. Yay, everybody's so supportive and dropping that knowledge share in the chat. Much appreciated. All right, let's go to the next example. Bob Myers, another LinkedIn Profinder person, now known as Services Marketplace. We connected on April 14th and he became a client just 2 weeks later. Similar chat as before. Let me know if you'd like to have a free coaching session. Saw your proposal. Best to have a quick phone call, exchange a couple more messages. So we had the free session and he's reaching out asking a bunch of questions. You know, what are the things that you offer? This is my situation. So I write back and say, yes, yes, and yes. You know, I do all of that, can help you with all of those things. Absolutely. Happy to help. So on 4/28, he reaches out, like to go ahead with your program, etc. So 2 days later, he paid, officially became a client. And bonus, just a couple of months later, he paid for his daughter to become a client too for the price of one. LinkedIn reach out, hey. So again, that's the benefit of this LinkedIn Profinder. Bob was a total stranger to me. I didn't know him. I was politely assertive, reached out to him through the services marketplace. He became a client, and then he was so happy with his work, our work together, that he paid for his daughter to become a client. So again, when you are active on here in tangible ways, it leads to very specific work that you book, money in your pocket, value that you're adding to people's lives, etc. All right, we're at about the halfway point. Let me pause there. What, if any, questions do people have? And again, you can put them in the chat, you can put them in the QA, or if you want to ask it verbally, you can raise your hand and we can try to unmute you. All right, so while we're waiting for questions, we'll go on to the next example. So the next example is Amber. We connected on LinkedIn May 2020. I offered a free session in the Syracuse University alumni group on LinkedIn. She saw it and added me. So presumably all of your alma maters have an alumni group on LinkedIn. So you can post in there. And I posted in there, happy to have a free session with any of my fellow SU grads who are interested in making things happen career-wise. You know, these are the main types of coaching I offer, etc. So she commented, she reached out, I connected with her, she accepted. I said, you know, when is best to have the free session? She was job free at the moment, so we set up the free session pretty easily. So we had the free session. She spoke to her mom, agreed it was a good investment, wanted to do the coaching. Later that week, Amber paid and officially became a client. Yay, woohoo. All right, I see we have some stuff in the chat and a Q&A, so let me scroll back through. This may be upcoming, but how many posts a week do you suggest? I didn't mention it, Holly, but I will say it now. I personally do it once a week. Once a week I post. So, you know, you don't have to be my teenage niece on Instagram or Snapchat in terms of the content frequency that you post. Once a week is totally good. And while we're talking about it, I will go to my activity on LinkedIn just so that you can see what we are talking about here. All right, so let me just share my screen again. Okay, so we'll go back to the home screen. My most recent post was yesterday. The good thing about LinkedIn is it gives you all of the data analytics for your posts, how much engagement you have. So I just posted this 14 hours ago, already got 545 views. You can see my prior post was 6 days ago, prior post 2 weeks ago. Obviously a video is more engaging. So when I have a video, I try to use it. This one got 3,500 views, 2,000 views. This picture got 3,300 views. Here are a bunch of pictures. This got 5,000 views, 1,800. This was my most popular one. I had a speaking engagement for Ford Motor Company in July. So I posted in my Ford DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion shirt. Got more than 10,000 views on that. So got to book another Ford Motor Company gig so I can keep getting lots of engagement here on LinkedIn. But when you do post, it's great to see then what resonates most with people. That way you can make more posts like that. And as you'll see a little later in the presentation, me making posts on here is a way that I get clients, as you can imagine. Review LinkedIn 101. After establishing provider info, assume it can be updated. Say if we add a branch or service to offer. Yes, Robin, you can update it. All right, great questions, everybody. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Sabrina and Jonathan. Grateful to you for navigating everything behind the scenes. All right, let's go to our next example. Christian Hernandez. We connected on LinkedIn May 2018. He became a client 2 years later. So let's see, he also came to one of my speaking engagements. He actually reached out to me on LinkedIn just with a congrats. So I try to personalize things. I get so many messages on LinkedIn. I don't reply immediately. This one was a few weeks later. Thank you. How's everything going at your new company, my fellow Villanova grad? So I try to make it personal when I reach out to people. I saw on his LinkedIn, okay, we're both Villanova grads. I went there undergrad, Syracuse for grad school. So he says, going well, lots of new personalities to navigate. I hit 55 this year, thinking a lot about how I want the next 5 years to go. would like to talk to set something up. So I say, oh gosh, absolutely. When is best to have the free session? We exchange a couple more messages, set up a call. 5/6 had the free session. 5/21, a couple weeks later, he paid and officially became a client. And again, as I said, first connected 2 years before. He was in the audience at a speaking gig I had for an alma mater, or for an alumni club of my alma mater. So as service providers, trying to get speaking engagements is a great way to get clients, whether paid speaking gigs or speaking gigs that are free, that you don't necessarily get paid for, but that are great exposure to people that have money to spend on our services. And then, of course, encourage people to connect with you on LinkedIn as a result of those speaking engagements, etc. All right. I love how natural and easy these flow. Yay. I love being natural and easy, Holly. Thanks for liking my energy and connect with me on LinkedIn if you have not done so already. All right. So speaking of, I will reshare my profile with you to make sure that all of you have access to it quickly. Oh, and by the way, fun fact, because I have so many connections on LinkedIn, you will be asked to follow me as opposed to connect with me. So you can click that more button and then scroll down to connect as opposed to follow. LinkedIn assumes that because I have 8,000 plus followers, I don't want to connect with people, but I actually do. So usually then I go through my followers and add them. So if you followed me, then I'll go through them later and add you and request you so that we can connect. All right, keep the questions and comments coming, everybody. Let's go to the next example. All right, Lisa Dominic. So we connected on LinkedIn May 2020. She was referred to me by someone I found on LinkedIn who was featured in the New York Times in an article about job hunting during the pandemic. I had a free session with that woman who couldn't afford to become a client, but she referred someone who could. So the work that you do means something to people. And even if they don't move forward, I am optimistic / confident that they're going to recommend others to move forward. So this woman who got referred by Laura reaches out to me and says, hi, Russ, we'd love to have a conversation with you about career next steps. My former colleague, Laura Wilson, referred me and suggested you were open to having a conversation. Would greatly appreciate we can set that up. Hi, Lisa. So nice to meet you. Yes, let's do it. When are the best times? Evenings work, mornings, etc. I'm currently unemployed, which, by the way, I use the phrase with my clients, job free. So whenever they say unemployed, I change it to job free. So we exchange a couple more messages about availability, set up the call, and Lisa paid and became a client on 5/14/20. So Lisa and I worked together, and as a result of our work together, she got not one, but two job offers, count them, two, and one paid more than 25,000 more than the other offer. So as you can imagine, she went with that one. And more good news, she and I are still working together. She's so grateful to have gotten not one, but two offers, especially one 25K more, that as she's navigating her next career challenge, she's still in the job, but thinking what's next, she's reached out for more coaching this year, which of course I'm certainly happy to provide. All right, questions or comments at this point? Again, you can put them in the chat, you can put them in the QA, or you can raise your hand if you want to ask it verbally. All right, let's go to the next example. Jason Kapoor, we connected on LinkedIn on July 16th, 2020, and he became a client just 6 days later. He was ready for action. I love it. So I said, hi, Jason, thanks for accepting. Great to meet you. Saw you're looking for a public speaking coach. So again, I personalized it. I usually don't say public speaking coach, but that's one of the many things I do. Let me know if you'd like a free session. I'm a TV reporter turned motivational speaker. Public speaking is my forte. Hi, Russ. Yes, I would. Awesome. We exchanged a couple more messages about availability, scheduled the call. So 7/19, we had the free session. Just 3 days later, not only did he pay, but he also had his first session. And we've been having sessions every 2 weeks for more than a year. It's more than just public speaking coaching. It's career coaching, life coaching. I do it all with him. And he pays my full pay-as-you-go rate, not the get a discount by paying an advance rate. So again, he and I have been working together now for 14 plus months. He is amazing, very inspiring, and grateful to know him. And again, total stranger. I met him through LinkedIn Services Marketplace. All right, let's see what the questions are. Let's see, we have a couple questions in the Q&A. Will I be commenting on profiles? I won't be commenting on profiles, but if any of you are on this and you want to work together, certainly happy to set up an intro call with any of you that want help on your LinkedIn, want help growing your business, and I'll share that stuff with you at the end. All right, thank you, Ron. I did look in the Q&A, let's see, I will keep navigating those questions in the Q&A, and I know Sabrina and Jonathan will help me with that. All right, a few more examples to share with you. Keep the questions coming. All right, the next person is Kent Roman. So Kent connected on LinkedIn in July last year and became a client in August. So he actually requested me on LinkedIn. And this is new for all the other people. I requested them, or, you know, we found each other from my speaking gig, but this one, he was a total stranger who reached out to me. So whenever that happens, I say something like, nice to meet you. I love knowing what inspired you to reach out. So he writes back right away, thanks for a note, really appreciate it. Reached out because I like your profile and comments regarding racism. I was also laid off from my job a few weeks ago, you know, trying to build my profile, be open to a call. So of course I said, you know, happy to chat, 2 options. I gave him the options to chat. He took me up on the session, the free coaching session offer. We exchanged a couple more messages and he became a client the next month. And a few months later, got a job offer for a great company. And he's now posting on LinkedIn about his new company and sharing opportunities for others to join the organization. So wow, look at all of that good news that happened through us connecting on LinkedIn. All right, let's see, any questions or comments at this point? Okay, a few more examples for you. Let's go to Alex Small. So Alex and I connected September 2018, and Alex became a client just this past April. So back in 2018, I said, hi, Alex, thanks for adding me on here. So I had a speaking engagement that he came to. He was in the class, so I promoted my LinkedIn. He added me, so I wrote back and said, thanks. He writes back actually a month later. Great experience with you, learned a lot. I had the interview, it went well. It was something he and I discussed. So I wrote back, great to hear. Thanks for the kind words. You know, my pleasure. So we continued to exchange messages over the next few days. And then 5 to 6 months later, he reached out on behalf of his fiance who was looking for a coach. She wasn't happy in her role. So I set up a free session with her. I also took the opportunity to follow up with him about his previous interview. He didn't get the job. He remained hopeful. I remind him happy to discuss his situation in more detail should he desire to do so. So again, I'm being politely assertive. So then back through the LinkedIn notifications. So that was Feb 2019. Now we're on to June 2020. So 16 months later, he got promoted. He said, thanks, how have you been all this? You know, I said, you know, doing well despite the pandemic, etc. So then fast forward another 10 months, he got another promotion. So I said, you know, congrats on another promotion. So he said, how are you doing? Yes, you know, the company made a big change. I'm actually updating my resume, not sure I believe in the change. I don't want to go down this path. Oh no, you know, want some coaching to figure out your next steps. So we exchanged a few more messages regarding availability, set up a call, had the free coaching session later that week. And again, 30 minutes later, he paid and officially became a client. So again, cultivating relationships through LinkedIn, keeping in touch with people. Multiple examples of this you can see are people that became clients. All right, more questions in the chat. Let's see. While these examples are great, can you pull back and provide broader advice? 5 things you should always do in networking, etc. Yeah, I mean, I think connecting with people. So whenever I meet someone, I always connect with them. That's number 1. Being politely assertive, I think, as you can see, is number 2. Having a great LinkedIn profile, I think, is number 3. Trying to go to in-person events or Zoom events these days to meet more people is number 4, and maybe I'll come back to a number 5, but those are 4 off the top of my head. Oh, yes, and we have some polling questions. Let's see, so let's go to the 3rd question, Jonathan. Did you post on LinkedIn in the last week? So we will take a break for a polling question. Did you post on LinkedIn in the last week? And again, this is what I recommend. Posting once a week is ideal. Again, you don't have to post super duper often. All right, so at least more than half of you, that's good, are posting on LinkedIn in the last week. Some of you have not, so that is something easy that you can fix. All right, we talked about some of the general stuff. Thank you again, Jonathan, for sharing the YouTube video from the LinkedIn 101 last year. Question from the Q&A. What if we sell services that can't readily be offered in the free session, an accountant or lawyer? So I think you can say, you know, happy to have a free consultation with you on the type of services I provide and the needs that you have, and see if we're a fit to work together. That's probably how I would word it. By the way, I was an accountant. CPA was my first career. David says, I post on my company page, but not my personal page. I personally would post, I do post more on my personal page. I think we have more connections on our personal page and it feels more personal. Now, you can certainly post on both, but when I compare the engagement, I personally get more engagement on my personal page as opposed to my company page. Now, David, if you get more engagement on your company page as opposed to your personal page, then have at it, keep posting on your company page. All right, just a couple more examples here. Danny Liu. So Danny and I connected on LinkedIn August 21st, and Danny became a client on August 26th. So here is the situation with Danny. Danny posted on LinkedIn and I saw it in my feed. So he wasn't looking for a coach. He wasn't in the services marketplace. I just saw it on my feed and I was like, wow, his post was really great. So I said, hi, Danny, thanks for accepting. Great to meet you. Excellent post about your departure from the bank and being job free, as I like to call it. So he wrote back right away, you know, I'm not the look at me, look at me, look at me type. I didn't want to post that, but a couple of folks convinced me and I'm happy I did. You know, walk down memory lane. Thanks for a generous offer. I can't retire. I see we have Daisy Holmes in common. So that was a connection too, you know, because we know somebody in common, he felt more comfortable working with me because we know this person in common, which of course he discovered through LinkedIn. You know, she's on my list to contact. As you can imagine, I'm flexible these days. So I wrote back, you know, Daisy's amazing. I'm grateful to know her too. How are these times? So we exchanged availability, set up the first call for 8/22, so just last month. And the next day he reached out and booked 3 sessions. So again, we had the free session. He reached out to confirm the next day. A few days later, he paid and officially became a client. All right, so as you can see, there are so many ways I get clients through LinkedIn. LinkedIn Profinder, now known as the services marketplace. So 3 different specific clients that way. 3 people who came to one of my speaking gigs and we stayed in touch via LinkedIn, mostly through me reaching out to them, even if they didn't write back every single time. 2 of those special situations, the family members, the son and daughter of other clients that I met, again, through me being politely assertive. The LinkedIn group for alumni of my alma mater, Syracuse. Here's one I didn't show you the example of, but I think it was Holly that asked about this. So I posted on LinkedIn, so one of my posts that I scrolled through before, that I have the bandwidth for more clients, and somebody saw that post, reached out to me via email. We set up a free session, and her company is paying for it also, and we've been working together weekly for the last 6 months, which is probably my second biggest engagement all year. And again, I got it directly from posting on LinkedIn. Again, the person I just mentioned who posted on LinkedIn, he left his company after 20 plus years. And then the last person who found me on LinkedIn. All right, let's see what's in the chat. Isn't this personal? What % of your business comes from LinkedIn? Holly, I will tell you the answer to that. So how I got my clients in 2021 so far, Holly, is, let's see. So of my 21 new clients so far this year, 6 have been through a company that I worked with. So a big corporate client, if you will. Let's see, 4 are referrals, 2 through Google/Yelp, 2 through LinkedIn, and about 2 or 3 who came to my speaking engagements. All right, let's see what else. Russ, what makes your presentation even more extraordinary? Oh, that's so nice of you, Brendan. Thank you so much, Brandon. Is your willingness to share a business practice that you use to grow your business. It's so rare to come across other business owners who are willing to so publicly share their successes. That includes the specific strategies with those methods. Really kind of you. Oh my gosh, Brandon, you're going to make me cry. That's so nice of you. Gosh, so nice. That makes my day. I know what I'm grateful for today. These kind words from Brandon. I'm going to have to copy these into a Word document so I can remember them. But seriously, I'm of the view that as business owners, we can cooperate with each other as opposed to competing with each other. We don't need to compete with each other. All of us know different people. And if I am such a firm believer that when you put good out into the universe, that good comes back at you tenfold. So I'm in year 10 as an entrepreneur. My business has continued to grow over these 10 years. So I'm really passionate that by helping others, the universe helps me in return. So thank you, Brandon, for the kind words. And of course, thank you, Sabrina, for booking me so I can share the kind words with Brandon and so I can share the wisdom and my success with everyone else. All right, we have about 10 minutes left. So what other comments or questions do any of you have? You're welcome, Sabrina. All right, so in terms of next steps, do you want more clients in your business through LinkedIn and otherwise? So anyone on this webinar today gets 20% off my regular coaching rates. So any fellow NGLCC certified business or anybody else on this call, 20% off regardless of the type of coaching that you're looking for. And as you heard earlier, I do all kinds of coaching, business, career, executive, leadership, life, etc. So email me or text me if you want to discuss. And I shared my email or my LinkedIn already, but I'll put my email, russ@russterrylifecoach.com and 646-460-0475. So connect with me on LinkedIn or via email or text or calling. And like I said, mention that you were on the webinar and you'll get 25 or 20. Oh my gosh, I'm giving away the farm here. 20% off my regular rates. All right. So I would love to hear final thoughts from some of you. What was the most beneficial aspect of today's webinar? What was the most beneficial aspect of today's webinar? You can go ahead and put that in the chat. You can raise your hand if you want to share it verbally. And certainly we have about 7 or 8 minutes left for anybody that has specific questions. Sabrina, thank you. She loved the personalized approach. Love this. Your approach is not salesy and feels totally doable. Thank you, Holly. I pride myself on not being salesy. I think if we are ourselves, we don't have to specifically act like we're selling. We can just be ourselves and talk about the value that we bring to the table. And as you've seen, a lot of people have been inspired to work with me. Jorge says real examples. Holly says, let's see, market services and all the great insight given. Great, thank you, Holly. Multiple Hollies in the call. Thank you, Sabrina, for sharing my stuff in the chat. Okay, so what other questions or comments do any of you have? All right, well, I'm certainly happy to stay on. Sabrina or Jonathan, if either of you have any questions, or if anybody in the audience has questions or comments. I'm grateful we got so much engagement over the course of the last hour or so. And Sabrina, I love that my shirt matches the color of your background. Energy attracts like energy.
Yes, absolutely, Russ. You left them speechless, clearly. I'm loving all the positivity in the comments. I think that you did a fantastic job today. As always, we're so lucky to be able to share this space with you and to have the opportunity to learn from you. I know once again, I've taken away lots of valuable information for my own purposes and practices as well. So I want to say a huge thank you to you for that. Everyone, I did drop Russ's info into the chat box, but you can also see it here on the screen. We were so glad to share this time with you, Russ, and Jonathan has also taken the opportunity to share some information about the upcoming NGLCC B2B Summit in the chat. So check it out, nglcc.org/summit. If you like the kind of content you heard today from Russ, then you're going to get some really amazing content coming through the summit, as well as we gear up for a bigger and better year than ever before next year with our 20th anniversary year. Hopefully we'll be together for a conference again in Las Vegas. So with that, I want to say a big thank you to everyone for joining today. Big thank you to our amazing presenter and subject matter expert, Russ Terry. If you missed out on the previous session, head over to NGLCC's YouTube page. This session will also be posted up there in the next 24 or so hours. So you'll have the ability to take advantage of this content from today's session as well. But Russ, thank you so much again. Thank you to each and every one of you for taking the opportunity to be here with us today. Reach out to webinars@nglcc.org with any questions you may have, and have a lovely afternoon. Thank you.